So here we go. We're live with the Captain Future Show. This ongoing concept on how we navigate the complex global world and how we navigate our own life in a time of craziness and crisis and everything. So, and we are gonna wait for a few minutes here to see if anyone else is joining the stream online or joining as a guest here. But I have Sadaf with me from Pakistan, and she's been on the show before. So, welcome, Sadaf.
Thank you, Michael. How are you? Happy Easter. So, how did you celebrate Easter? Tell me about it.
Yeah, I don't know how most Swedes celebrate Easter, but I'm part of a local community here in Sweden that every Easter gathers in a large gaming convention, and we play
Mm-hmm.
board games and we play card games and role playing games, no computer games, so all analog offline games, and we do
Mm-hmm.
that usually during a 4-day event. But this year
Mm-hmm.
it's like all other events; it was cancelled, so we organized a small home gathering, friends of us playing
Mm-hmm.
board games all weekend, and we play what some people call modern board games or Euro games
Mm-hmm.
or German games. It's all originated from Germany
Mm-hmm.
25 years ago with Settlers of Catan, and now has moved into a crazy hobby with hundreds of new interesting games being released every year.
So, what are the board games like? Are they cards you play, or it's like how do you play? What are the games? Tell me about them.
Uh, the games, yeah,
Yeah.
some of my favorite games are like let's see, Concordia. It's about
Okay.
building your family during Roman times, and one game
Okay.
is called Homesteaders, when you go from building a farm
Mm-hmm.
in the west in US Western theme. And
Mm-hmm.
also I like a game like Feast for Odin, when you build up your Viking empires. I like civilization and empire building type games, the things we, we shouldn't do now, but
Yeah.
it gives great perspective on how
Mm-hmm.
what it is that trigger people to actually do this in real life. But I enjoy Feast for Odin is my absolute favorite
Okay. I
game. So
haven't, I mean, played those games, so I don't know.
no,
But I like
no.
board games. Like I've played cards a lot.
Mm,
uh, as kids, I remember we used to play like Scrabble,
mm.
Monopoly, those kind of games, chess, Ludo, Ludo,
Yeah,
those kind of
of course.
games, and
Mm,
carom board, and outdoor like sports
mm,
also. So we have to be active also in this time. Like, I want to like tell people there's so many healthy activities that we can still even do home by sitting home. If you have a small garden, you can walk
mm.
or play badminton, play frisbee, or use a skipping rope. So you have to keep yourself active as well.
Yeah, you have to do that. You have to find all, but physical training, cognitive training, emotional training,
Yeah.
and social training, all those kinds of things we do on a
Yeah.
daily basis. So,
Yeah, so we have to keep and read books. I mean, to spend time.
mm,
You can be creative and all, and spend time with your family. So usually,
mm.
like in Easter, like you go with your family. So how was it? I want to know more about it in your Swedish tradition. Are there any specific traditional Swedish
Uh,
uh, eggnogs, or what do you like make? Any traditional kind of food, or during the Easter?
yeah, the Swedish Easter tradition is like a small version of the Christmas tradition. We eat some of the same
Okay,
food, like
okay,
fermented herring and eggs and
eggs, yeah.
fish like that. Yeah, and we
Mm-hmm.
drink something called must. It's a Swedish brewed sugar craft soda that's only available
Okay,
in Sweden, but it's very very good, and we have been drinking it for 100 years
oh
here or
wow.
something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. And are you like, what else is happening over there? So you said it's that still the restaurants are open, people are going out, or it's like,
Yes, all are open, but there are very little
hmm,
people. So many of them
hmm,
are suffering like all over the world. But at least they try to stay open, and there are people organize home delivery from all the local restaurants in every town here in Sweden. But it's hard
hmm,
to see how this is the main sustainable in the long run. And I just came
yeah,
off on a online video from
hmm,
Germany, and they're thinking about opening up restaurants and stuff like that soon. But because they've been
hmm,
on complete lockdown, and but so
yeah,
many small companies and family companies, especially restaurants and other
hmm,
type of small companies, are suffering greatly during this crisis who lost all the customers, and so it's going to be
Mhm.
a hard time for everyone all over the
Yeah.
world, I think. And
Yeah, but I think the other thing that I'm liking about, because I'm a nature lover person, I
mm,
like natural beauty, natural
yeah,
landscapes. I
yeah,
think climate is having a good impact during all this lockdown. I mean, if we see the air pollution percentages
mm,
going down, the earth is healing itself. So I
mm,
think that's a positive impact, and we all should think about it. We have to take care of our natural beauty, natural landscapes. It's
mm,
high time that we need to seriously think about all the countries, irrespective of whether it's we talk about Asian, Europe, US, Canada, all the continents.
mm.
So I think it's like there should be discussions on climate, I think, specific also, that how we can, further improve it. Like say no to the plastic bag campaigns. There's so many things that like use hybrid cars, introduce them, or a tree plantation we're talking about. So I think this is a very interesting topic. Clean drinking water, save the ocean, save the planet. So we should have a talk on this as well. What do you think?
Yeah, certainly. Like we see the contrast that when we change something, we can see all other things changing, and we don't want to go back to our normal well, where this just disappears and we forget all about it. So it's very important to raise that story now. It's the natural world and what we're doing to our planet, and like the things that the Fridays for Future and Greta movement all over the world been raising for 1 year, and people just ignoring them. But now
Yeah,
suddenly the things they wanted to be done are suddenly possible, but not for the reason they
yeah.
wanted it done. But
Yeah, and I think I had a hackathon like 2 days ago, and there was a very
mm,
good concept of a climate school from Norway.
mm,
They introduced, and we would like to talk about it more. I
mm.
will be getting in touch how we can introduce it here in Pakistan. The awareness campaigns starting from schools and colleges. So that's going to be a very good positive movement that we start during because of the COVID-19. I mean, take it seriously that way.
Yeah, it certainly is. So that's all these types of projects and stuff. We have to raise that so that this becomes a story in its own. So all the good initiatives that gives contrast to all the bad things happening now.
Mhm.
So it's an
So
amazing.
I don't,
Yeah.
yeah. So over here, like if like because I know you guys have good public transport systems, and a lot of people don't even own cars abroad, like in Europe or other countries. They
Mm.
use they either go cycling to their work, which is very healthy. Like Amsterdam is known for cycling, right? Everybody are using a bicycle, and they have these lanes also. So if it can be implemented in countries like we don't have that kind of system over here, so I think we need to rethink about these things to encourage them.
Yes, certainly. Like China used to be a cycling country, now it's going
Yeah.
in the wrong direction. But if we can do it Copenhagen is a fantastic biking city, and it's cold and dark most of the time of the year. So it's you can do it even here up on the very northern part of the our globe. So then we can do
Mhm.
it anywhere where the weather is more nice, because it's even I refrain from going out biking when it's raining and very cold and
Yeah.
dark. So.
Yeah. So we have is there anyone online with us as yet, or
No, just people commenting in my messenger
how
thread.
is
So,
Bertola? He's fine. He's good.
yeah, he's good. Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
he's the
So
we
what?
talk.
Oh my God! What will be your first country after that when things are go back to normal? Where would you like to visit?
Where will I like to visit? I would like to
Yeah.
go to England and London. I've been
Okay.
longing to go there for a long time. Yeah,
Have you ever been?
yeah. My London is my favorite place to go. So,
Oh, I love UK. Like we
yeah,
would like I'll be there soon as well, so you can always
yeah,
come and visit. I love the
yeah.
countryside. Last summer I was there. I went up to North Wales. I went to
Mm.
Snowdonia. It was
Ah,
really nice up in the hills, the lakes and the natural beauty. So I
mm,
did that. So it was really interesting. And I went to Cornwall as well. So it was really nice. The weather
mm.
was nice as well. We were lucky that it didn't rain during my trip. So we were very lucky. Yes, that way we could walk around.
Yeah,
I want to visit. I love Europe as well. I would love to go back to like places that I haven't seen, but I hope things go back to normal soon. But
Yeah,
there will be, that's what I'm hearing, that there will be kind of a travel certificate, kind of showing that you're okay with it. I think they will be revising the travel advisory policies as well,
mm,
globally.
yeah.
The
So
SOPs that we all have to follow, then they will be coming up with them. Otherwise, it will be very difficult, for the travel process to go back to normal.
yeah, so we will find out what what that looks like in a couple of weeks. See
Yeah, the
if there's gonna
airlines, the
be
hotel,
hotels, everything. Yeah.
airlines, everything, they will be coming
Mm,
up with those things.
mm.
Yeah.
So much of the infrastructure will still be there when we
Yeah.
go to figure out how to do things in a new way. But I don't think we will ever go back to the way things were, and we hopefully can raise a new awareness of why and when we travel and what we do when we travel. Because when I went to Pakistan, I don't go as a tourist. I never travel as a tourist. I always try to connect to local people and
Yeah.
have a like uh, see a story and everything. So like it's about the connecting to people that's interesting me, making friends in all over the world. So this is
Yeah.
something we do online now, and many of us
Yeah.
want to meet up in real life. That's how I get to know Rehan online
Mhm.
well before I met him in real person, and it's so
Yeah.
amazing to like make friends all over the world and then see them in real life as well. So.
Yeah, connectivity is very important at this stage. You need to
Mm,
know them, you need to talk about it so that we can globally together fix things together, because it's not just we're not talking about one country. So we need to connect, we need to learn from each other how we can improve it further, and make it easy for the businesses, for the small SMEs, big enterprises, for the travel industry, for the education system. There's so many things. Health, of course, is the priority right now. So there's so many things that we have to rethink and recome with new ideas how we can, improve them further and cope with them. So everybody's thinking really hard, and I think this global connectivity, like me and you talking together, or these Zoom
mm.
conferences, or the StreamYard, there's so many apps that have come up, and we're all talking to each other. So I think that's a really good way of learning from each other, and we should, try to make as much as possible that we can.
Yeah, we should. So.
So, I mean, we're all hoping for the best, but it
Mm.
will take some time, I guess. I think the longer, even over here, they've like relaxed a bit the for these small enterprises, because there was a lot of pressure over here on the government. So they have opened up small businesses, and I'm really worried for that, because we are not like, people are not still aware of it. So it will spread more, because we don't have that kind of facility over here. The testing, we don't know how many people are tested. We don't have that kind of system over here as yet. So it will be even more, worrisome, because they've opened up things. School, colleges, and
Mm.
offices are still closed, but the big construction companies, the tailor business, the barber shops, the big industries, they've opened up. So let's see how things goes for the next 2 weeks now, when they've opened up stuff over here as well in Pakistan.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see how we cope with this,
Because
and what
yeah,
we learn
because
and what we can do.
yeah, because every country, you see, the WHO SOPs, also guidelines, when they're
Mm,
telling us it's different for every country, it has to be different. Like, Sweden will be different from Norway, Norway will be different from Spain, Italy would be different from,
mm.
England. So every country will have different guidelines and SOPs to follow, keeping their perspectives in mind.
Yes, certainly. So I
And
just saw
digital
the
transformation is like, wow, it's doing wonders. That
yeah, yeah,
AI, artificial intelligence, and industrial revolution that we were talking about, 4.0, and the digital transformations. I think that's the key now. And they have to really come up with, like, even we're here talking about that our internet servers, our telecommunication should relax, or subsidize the prices in this crisis. I don't know what's happening over there. Are you getting any free, like from the government side, any subsidized packages for using the internet or something, or no?
nothing, nothing yet.
Mm-hmm.
But we're fairly we have good broadband and fiber almost everywhere in Sweden. So we have it a good setup so far, and everything's working out. So.
Mm-hmm.
But I can see some people on some parts of the world where the internet is not coping with all the traffic now. So
Yeah.
you can see that when the low res video feeds from Zoom and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, over here also so far, like we have a good system in my home. Like
Mm,
it's working fine right
mm,
now. But there are some areas that they are having problems. Like Karachi is a big city, and my team over there, when they're
mm,
online, the voice breaks up, so
mm.
they're having trouble over there as well.
Yeah,
But so far so good. So let's see how it goes. So,
mm,
so I will be off now, and thank you so
yeah,
much for. We'll be in touch, and
yeah.
hope to see you soon in person wherever we can meet, maybe in UK or I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see what's happened, and I'm
Yeah,
gonna join. There's a SDG call next week as well, right?
yeah. Next week I will share
Yeah,
the link. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Stay
So I'll
safe.
see. Stay safe. Hello. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
So there we go. That was the DAF, and this is. I've been playing around with StreamYard and my Captain Future show for a couple of weeks now, and now I'm finally ready to make it a regular show. So this is a perfect time for me and many people. It's 9 p.m. 2100 hours here in Central Europe, and it's midnight in Pakistan, and it's afternoon East Coast and noon in Pacific time, where most of my network and friends are. So some people will be able to join at least at this time, or I will try to move the slot around if I have some special guests that can make it at another time. So the format's going to be either me, open random supportive, just doing my show and inviting people the same day, or it's going to be a booked show with special guests. I will. So if you know anyone, or if you want to know, you want to join as well as a special guest to the Captain Future show, I will try to do it almost every night when I have the time myself, which I do now have, or during special events, I will try to do a special show all day. So I will see if I can make Captain Future show work during. There's an upcoming hackathon here again in the Europe called Hack for Europe, or EU vs the virus, so something like that. I will see if I can make a special show during that weekend. It will be next week, and I will. If you know some of the organizers or can get me in contact with them, I would love to host a show during the whole weekend with constant people coming in and out of the show. So when it's online or offline, so that would be cool. Maybe see how many hours I can keep it online. Like I made a 6-hour show when I started experiment with Captain Future show. It was 3 weeks ago during Best for the World event. We had an event where we did 80 hours around the clock broadcasting and live streaming. So it was both single man shows or conversations locally with some local people in southern Sweden, or online shows like mine. And I did a 6-hour broadcast there, and I could stay focused and coherent for 6 hours. So it was a really good experiment. So it's certainly something for me. I love doing this, and I've been collecting my type of knowledge, network, and wisdom during the last 25 years, and especially during the last 20 years when I'm doing this full time. What it is to live an online life. So my history is that back in '93, when I first discovered internet, I went online and we were doing a trip with our graduation class for a local. I went to a course called uh, Innovation Entrepreneurship, or something like that in Swedish, Utvecklingsingenjör. And we decided to go as a graduation trip, go to Hong Kong and China in '94. So '93, I went online and I found a university, Hong Kong University, and I emailed them. So it was my first email experience, and asked for a local contact. So I got in contact with 3 students, one Scottish guy living and studying there, and 2 Chinese girls. So I had a constant email contact with those. And when we went and set up a local meeting, learned about the local custom. This was before World Wide Web, so you couldn't do any. There was no Wikipedia, no online searching and browsing. So just some university pages and some other web pages in '93. So that's the first things I found. My World Wide Web experience, and in that I found this context, and to find out about local things like this, of course, I got a actual physical book, a traveling guide to Hong Kong, but that was a tourist guide. So I had a constant email contact with the people. How is it to actually live there as a person in Hong Kong? So that's my first experience connecting with people online. And when we went there, the Scottish guy had to go home to Scotland, so we couldn't meet up. But a Chinese girl met up, and she introduced us to the local customs, and we had a dinner with her family, all 30 of us who went there. And it was an amazing experience just to see how you can connect in the global world. And since then, I've been continuing doing this, connecting to people online. I was really shy as in real life then, but online I was never shy. So this was the perfect forum for me where I became alive. So I like to say that I have digital blood, and then everything snowballed from there. I was a great fan of early cyberpunk fiction, like William Gibson, Johnny Mnemonic, and when Ghost in the Shell came out in '95, I was mind blown. The anime movie, the animated Japanese movie, and all the concepts in there. And I went fully into this concept, and I went into the geek and computer world. So I've been my whole life geek person, interested in stuff. You can see, oh, there it is. I'm a big fan of Marvel and Captain America. That's why one part of why I call myself Captain Future. That's why the shield is over there. So and stuff like that. And then in 1999, when blown, because the concepts in that movie is the things people start 21 years later now. Now we're starting talking about what the Matrix really is about, waking up to discovering the system we have been so interconnected with that suddenly many of them have stopped, and many of us are starting asking questions now. What is it to live in this Matrix world when we are so dependent on our annual monthly salary and are living in our homes, living our lives in what we would call a cage, like ordinary life, not reflecting much on our daily activities. And what it is really is to play society together. What makes society spin? It's all people I meet say it's money, but money is just a story. You can't eat money. You can't live in money. If you don't, you can build a paper house from paper money, or you can build a paper bed and sleep in it, but it's not very comfortable. But apart from that, money is just a story we use to tell ourselves on how we actually play society together. But that's only one story. That's like before we had money, we certainly were alive, and you don't see bears and fish and crabs and birds going about their daily lives using money as their story. They live in a natural world where they eat, fucking sleep. And like most of us, we do this without even questioning why we use money as our story, how to organize our lives in society. But this is a question coming up more now, and that's the question the Matrix movie tried to raise, that we're so interlocked and interdependent in the system, so we can't even stop and think and criticize or ask questions about our daily lives. But many people now are just starting to do that, and I've been on so many fantastic video calls and Zoom calls about, and even here talk to people on my show about the stories we tell ourselves that make up our society. And we can see that many of the stories now are not working as they should. We were not prepared to a pandemic. I just shared a story yesterday about how Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor 2,000 years ago, lived his 15-year career. There was a plague, the Ionian plague or something, I think it was called. And let's see the name here. The plague was called the Antonine Plague, 165 after Christ. So it was almost 2,000 years ago, and his whole career as a Roman emperor was during this time of plague and the global pandemic that came from the trade routes. So, and he made a lot of his whole book Meditations, a lot of the knowledge around that was known for almost 2,000 years. And now we're taking him by surprise by a global pandemic. We had been knowing, if you study history, from history, you haven't been knowing this for 2,000 years. And so amazing. I was aware of the risk for a pandemic, and I was fairly certain that my government had all the plans and all the things prepared for a thing like this, but apparently no. So now we have to fix this crisis, and we have to because this is not the last pandemic and this is a mild pandemic, there's way worse things that can hit us. So we have to figure out what is it to organize a global society, because we're not getting that back. We're not going back to nation states with closed borders ever again. We're not that kind of people. Many people will want to do that, and that's going to end in a horrible experience for all of humanity. So that's not the story we want moving forward. We want a global world, and we want a global world with collaboration and preparation, and a new story of what it is to play species in the universe. We are all stardust, and we've been around for a very short time in the whole history of the universe. And if we're going to continue this, what we call the human experiment and the human endeavor that will stand the test of time, we have to think very differently about what it is we do here on our only home, our planet. There was a fantastic conversation yesterday. I shared it on my Facebook from the Long Now Foundation, and a lot of people talking with having a longer perspective on everything in our society. So check it out. It's a 4-hour stream on YouTube and Facebook with a lot of interesting people handing it off. So there, one person becomes the guest for another person, and that person then hosts the next guest and so on. So it's very interesting format when they're handing off for the next person to the next person during almost 5 hours. And the Long Now is a foundation in the US that's building a 10,000-year clock to make us think long term, because we humans suck at thinking long term unless we really try to do it. And that's what I'm trying to do as Captain Future. How do we think long term on the things we do here on Earth? And there's a fantastic bar in Fort Mason in San Francisco called the Interval, where we end up every year when we used to go there during SOCAP. And the first session was hosted from the Interval, a fantastic place. So if you ever visit or in San Francisco, go to the Interval when everything is back to normal. No, it's not going back to normal. When everything is the new story of us starting beginning, the Interval and places like this is going to be the center points, and we need places like this in every city, meeting places for people interested in talking about these questions. And in the meantime, we create these studios and meeting places online, like my Captain Future show. I just joined a call from a lot of people from Germany and all over Europe tonight about asking this question. And Sadafa was with us before. We have our global call once every week now about the SDGs. So this is all perfect situation. If you know of any place or way, shape or form this type of conversations is going on, please contact me and send me a link. I want to be in all of them. That's what I do. I'm the guy hanging around in every way, situation and form, discussion society in the future. That's what Captain Future do. So if you know of any online event, please send me an invite. I would like to take part in every conversation and listen in foremostly. I'm a great listener, and I love to listen to people and the conversations to see what's going on and give my thoughts and feelings about what I hear and stuff like that. So if you see anything, any link, any meeting, Facebook, Zoom, StreamYard, any way, shape or form, please send me a link or an invite. I would like to join so we can continue this conversation and take it really take this opportunity now to see what we can do here as humans on spaceship Earth. So my story, 1999, The Matrix. That's when I got my crazy hairstyle. You can't see it now because I don't wear that hairstyle when I'm at home and I have my headset on. But as soon as you will see me in the physical person, all the photos of me, you will see me wearing my Captain Future hairstyle. And that's from the movie Matrix. That's called residual self-image. That's how I choose to project myself in the physical world, because I'm a digital person like some of you. And I like to say I have digital blood and stuff like that. Funny stories that propagate a silly playfulness way of looking at myself and the world. But that's why I wear this hairstyle, and that came from the movie The Matrix. When I studied up on the concept of know thyself and all the philosophy that had been missing from my life when I went to high school and university and during my whole grown up, I never knew anything of Plato, Socrates and stuff like that. There was no story about it, so I didn't know even to look for it. But that's what I found out in 1999, thanks for the movie The Matrix. And that was a whole world of knowledge and books that has been preserved through 2,000 years about this, Marcus Aurelius and everything like that. So my mind was blown back then. I started reading books about this stuff for the first time, and trying to get people to find online forums and stuff like that to talk to people. But it took me 10 years to really find the others. That's in 2011 when I started finding the others online, talking about this question. And half a year later, I quit my job and started doing this online, finding the others full time. So that's what I do. The quote is a fantastic quote. If you search "Find the Others" with Terence McKenna, it's an old quote, but it still resonates through today. Or some of the best quotes from the Matrix, finding the others and taking the red pill. So you can see if you see my logo and everything is red and blue. My name is there. Everything is red and blue in my logotypes and everything, and that symbolizes the red and the blue pill in the Matrix. So taking the red pill is not automatic. That's a choice we make every day. And some days we take the blue pill and do the ordinary stuff. Even I take the blue pills many days, but as many days as possible, I try to take the red pill to search for wisdom, to be curious about myself and the world, and really trying to understand what we do. So taking the red pill is a choice I try to make every day, and that's a lot of more of us should do that. So that's why I have the color red and blue everywhere in everything I do, and so that's the concept. Taking the red pill. So if you're a fan of the Matrix or the original Ghost in the Shell movie, please contact me as well, and we talk a lot more about that and the concept and the philosophy about know thyself and finding the others. So that's it for me tonight. I will of course, continue this conversation. I think I'll be online tomorrow, not 21, but maybe 22 or 23, 2 hours later, 1 or 2 hours later tomorrow. I will make it because I'm in another call before that. And on Friday, I will be online 9 o'clock CET, the same time as today. So with Ka will be my guest then. So me and Ka is gonna have an interesting conversation about what we have discovered during the last couple of weeks. We met at Emerge Gathering Festival in Kiev in Ukraine last year. A fantastic festival where I met a lot of change makers from all over the world. So maybe Ka and some other people from the Emerge network will join me on Friday. So it's going to be interesting. So thanks everyone for staying with me. I love you all, and we do this together. There is only us. The human species is a collaborative species, and we collaborate with people that is not family and our closest friends. That's our number one trait, and this is the number one trait and skill we will train on a global scale to make this human civilization work, and that will stand the test of time. So we do it together. Find the others, and we do it together. Bye, everyone.